Hi, it's your coach Laurie McNaughton coming to you again with another short video for you business owners out there. Every single business owner should consider this. And if you haven't already, you need to start. You need to start right now. And that is really begin with the end in mind. If you haven't read this book, you probably should. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. By Stephen Covey. One of his 7 habits is begin with the end in mind, and that means, if you're 20 years old or 30 years old or you're 50 years old and you haven't done this, is when am I going to exit this business? How much money do I need to have in order for me to be comfortable to exit this business? In this book, The Right Exit Strategy, the author tells the story of a couple of partners. We're in the tech business. They built up a company that was at some point worth $300 million. This was like 2-3 decades ago. And the one partner said, okay, I'm cashing out. And he got out with a bundle of money, which allowed him, I don't know if he went on and retired or if he started a new business, it doesn't really matter. The sad part of the story is the second partner chose to stick around. And ultimately, they went through a crash. I don't know if it was the dot-com crash or one after that. Needless to say, the guy lost everything. Had he exited with his partner, he would have never had to worry about money again as long as he lived. So, begin with the end in mind means, okay, how old am I going to be when I want to exit this business? And if you're in the, construction industry, whether you're in the plumbing business or electrical contractor, or you're a framer, or a drywaller, or a roofer, or an insulator company, and you're still working in the business, you got to remember this: you're only young for so long, and then your body's going to wear out. So you need to have a business at this point that functions without you needing to be there all of the time, without you needing to be on the tools. So going back, how much money do I need to have in the bank? Do I want my home completely paid for? Do I want to have a vacation home? Whatever it is that you want, decide now. Don't wait until the end when you're going, oh my God, I wish I would have done this 15 years ago or 20 years ago. So, determine things like, what is your revenue goals and what's your profit goals? And remember this saying, I want you to let this ring in your ears constantly. Revenue is vanity, okay? Profit is sanity. Can't tell you how many companies I've come across over the almost 20 years I've been doing this now, pushing for big revenue goals. We got to 1 million, we want to get to 5. We got to 5, we want to get to 10. We got to 10, we want to get to 20 or 30 or 50 or 100. Without giving a great deal of thought to the end in mind, which is how much profit are we going to make, so that in the end, my life, because you can't always count on the big paydays that you're getting if you're not taking care of yourself. So set some revenue goals. You should be doing that yearly, profit goals yearly, and you should also say whenever it is that you plan on retiring. So if it's 10 years, if it's 20 years, whatever it is, where do you want to be? How much money do you want to have? As I said, how old will you be? You'll need to develop things like SOPs, standing operating procedures, or systems, procedures, whatever you want to call them, processes. You need to have all of these in places, because this is what makes your company valuable. So if you've got a good profit, and you've got good standard operating procedures, and you've got the next key ingredient, which is a team of people who can execute on the strategy, people who can execute on the actions. So here's the thing. So let's just say you've been in business for 20 years and now you want to retire, but you've spent 20 of those years working in the business. Sure, you got a team around you, but you know what? You're working hand in hand with them, And maybe you've got to 10 million, maybe more. But the challenge is that you don't really have key people in place. You don't have succession planning for key people. You just have a team of people who came along for the ride, and now you go, well, I want to sell my business, and this business, for argument's sake, let's just say it makes $1 million a year in profit, but that profit relies on those people being there, key people being there and being there for a period of time, and of course if you have to be there in order for that company to make that profit, then the value goes down considerably. And the way people or investors evaluate companies is multiples of typically profit. So if your business if you make $1 million in profit every year, but it relies heavily on you being there, then that company is not, you might get one-time multiple. So they might say, oh, we'll give you $1 million, but we want you to stay there for a year or 2 years and run the place. And of course, then you become an employee, which I got to tell you, I've never met an entrepreneur or business owner who had been in business for 20 years who suddenly all of a sudden thought, yeah, I like being an employee of somebody else. So the opposite of that is you take a 2-3 months vacation every year. You come into the office, 3 times a week, 4 times a week, whatever. You're around for 2-3 hours. You've got an exceptional team of people around you who execute the strategy and the actions. You've got succession planning for all those people, and you make $1 million profit. And somebody comes along and goes, interesting, I can buy this company from this guy, and I know it's going to make $1 million profit without him being there. So I'm going to pay him multiples. And it might be 3 times multiple, it might be 5 times multiple. It really depends on the business. Sometimes it's businesses have sold well beyond 5 times multiple, but it's a completely different kind of business. But so typically you're going to look in that area there. So the other thing you want to do is talk to your accountant and make sure you're protecting yourself tax-wise, and plan this stuff. Don't wait until the end. Like I said, begin with the end in mind. Build your tax strategy around when you're going to sell the business, when you're going to exit the business, and of course talk to a lawyer and make sure you dot all your I's and cross all your T's that way. Think about the different strategies for selling. You can sell to, obviously, to investors. You could sell to family members. You could sell to employees. There's a lot of different strategies to selling businesses. That this is something that you should reach out to, speak to your lawyer, your accountant, or a business broker to determine what the best strategy is for you and your company. But as I said, and I'm going to end the video with, begin with the end in mind. Begin with the end in mind. You are not going to be young forever. You're not going to want to work forever. And you don't want to work for 20 years and go, gee, if I had maybe set some goals and maybe put a plan into place, maybe I'd have 2 or 3 times the amount of money I have now. So again, it's your coach, Laurie McNaughton, bringing you this short little kick in the pants video for those of you who haven't got an exit strategy. If you're interested in finding out how a guy like myself can help you reach your goals faster, just go to my website, lauriemcnaughton.com. Right on the front page, there's a link you can click on, goes directly to my calendar. You can book a 15-minute discovery meeting. And why I call it a 15-minute discovery meeting, why it's only 15 minutes long, is because as entrepreneurs, time is our most valuable asset. And so spending time talking to people who really have a problem that I don't know how to solve or can't solve, or it's not my expertise, I don't want to do that. So you book the 15-minute call. I'm just going to ask a few questions to make sure and understand if this is something that I can help you with. And if I can, then we'll book a much longer complimentary coaching session where, again, if you've watched any of my videos in the past, you'll understand what I'm going to do is just ask some questions so I can understand what's going on with your business. If again, what I mentioned before, a symptom is, we have poor profitability, or a symptom is As the business owner, I can't really go away for any amount of time because every time I do, I come back to a mess. Those are just symptoms. So I want to ask a bunch of questions so I can understand the cause, and then I'll share with you what the solutions are. And if you think there's some value in us working together, me helping you get to where you want to go faster and quicker, then we can talk about a program that would work for you and your company. Thank you for your time. Have yourself a great day. Oh, and by the way, subscribe to watch more videos on little business tips that I'm going to be posting frequently. Have yourself a great day.